talking about all of my favorite brushes. So over the years, I've picked up a lot of brushes. I've tried many different brushes from different brands and various different price points. So I wanted to put together a list of all my favorites. So if you'd like to see what they are, then please keep watching. I'd like to start off with the Beauty Blender, the all popular, famous Beauty Blender. It looks like this. This is what it looks like when it is dry. You get it underwater, you wring it out, and then you use it to buff in your foundation. For concealer, I like using this one, which is slightly smaller than the Beauty Blender, and it's actually supposed to be for blush, but I use it for concealer under my eye. I use it both to blend out my concealer and to set my concealer with powder, translucent powder. On a daily basis, I don't use a Beauty Blender because I'm just too lazy to go to the sink and wet it and whatnot. So I typically tend to use foundation brushes, like flat top brushes. So my favorite foundation brush is this one right here. And it is the Morphe E31. So this is the old Elite collection, and I actually prefer this one to the new Elite collection that came out because I find the bristles on this to be a little more dense than the new Elite collection, but that one's great as well. So why I like this brush is it buffs in foundation really quickly because it's got like a huge surface area, and it has the perfect amount of give to it. Like if you look at the brush and you go like this, you can see that it is both dense, but it has like a little bit of give to it. So I absolutely love this brush for foundation. I think it's amazing, and you can get your foundation on real quick with this brush. This is what the new Elite 2 brush looks like. So it's very, very similar in a look, but like I said, this one has a little less give than this one, because if you look at this one, I don't even know if you'll be able to tell, but this one kind of has less density than this. Next, for setting my foundation, I use the Real Techniques blush brush, and it looks like this. It's very fluffy and big, and it's the perfect size for my face. I've had this brush forever. I think I've had this brush for like maybe 4 years, and I find it excellent for setting your foundation. So the other brush I wanted to talk about, which I also use for powder, is the Morphe E3 brush. So it looks like this, and it kind of has like a tapered top to it. So I like this one for rolling my setting powder over my face rather than like buffing in. I use this one to buff in, but I use this one if I want a little bit more coverage, and I'm gonna roll the powder over my face. So I use both of them, and I love both of them, and I think they're both really, really great brushes, and they're both affordable. For my blush, I like the Morphe E4 brush. So it's an angled brush. It looks like this. And again, it has those dual fiber bristles. I absolutely love these brushes. It's the Morphe Elite collection brushes. And I think this brush is perfect for my cheeks because it fits perfectly like that. And I usually typically apply my blush, like this. So I think it's the perfect size and perfect density. It's not too dense to where when you dip your brush into the blush, it picks up a lot of product and deposits it on your face. It's very, very like flimsy, which is excellent for blush application. So for bronzer, unfortunately, I haven't been able to find a bronzer brush that I like as much as I like this one. And this is the really, really popular brush from MAC, and it is the MAC 135 brush. It looks like this, and it has goat hair. It's amazing. I just dip the bronzer into it like this, and then I apply my bronzer on the perimeters of my face. It blends it out beautifully. I haven't found any other bronzer brush that I like as much as this one, so I'm so sorry that it's so expensive, because pretty much all the other brushes I talked about were pretty inexpensive or affordable. This is my only expensive thought, because I find when you use something that's more dense, it kind of applies too much product, and then when you go to apply your, well, for me, if when you go to apply your eyeshadows over it, it kind of creases up a little bit. So I prefer to use something like this that's really fluffy but also synthetic, because it doesn't pick up as much product. So I enjoy this brush for that purpose. Next brush I'd like to speak about is the MAC 224 brush, and this is the one that I use to, see right there, this is the one that I use to apply my transition shade and my crease color. So I use it pretty much right here. Again, it's an expensive MAC brush, and I actually have 3 more expensive MAC brushes to talk about, but I absolutely love it, and I definitely think it's worth the money. I've had this for about a year and a half, and I have had absolutely no issues with it. Next, I use one of these 2 brushes to do my crease color, so kind of like this area. I use it on its side typically, and then I blend it like this. So the first one is the MAC 217. It's super popular, so everyone talks about it, and I think it's amazing. I also actually use this brush to apply my first like light color underneath my lash line, my lower lash line, and I think it's excellent for that. A good alternative to it is the Morphe M433, so it pretty much looks the same, and I use them interchangeably. I don't really have a favorite. I like them both, and if one of them's dirty, I'll just use the other one. So I recommend both of these brushes, and again, I use them both in the crease like this, and also on the lower lash line to apply my first light color underneath my lower lash line. So absolutely love it, and definitely recommend it. The next brush is my lid brush, and I only have one, and it's my favorite lid brush ever. It is the MAC 242 brush, and this brush is amazing. I love it for mainly eyeshadows that have shimmer in them. I find that eyeshadows that are matte, you can use any lid brush pretty much, but eyeshadows that are shimmery, this is the brush you need. Like, I don't have an alternative. This is the only brush I use, and this is the only one I recommend because it's amazing, and it really packs on the color really well with minimal fallout, I find. So I don't have any other brush to recommend other than this one for that. The next brush is my MAC 219 brush. So it looks like this, and this is actually a Morphe one, M431, so I use either or, and what I use it for is to apply my eyeshadow about my favorite brushes that I've collected over the years, and I have tried a lot of brushes. Like back here, I have a ton of brushes, and I probably have around 60 brushes at this point. I usually give away brushes that I don't like because I am the type of person that if I don't like something, I'll either give it away or throw it away, like if it's really old. But I tend not to keep things that I don't like. So I have picked these brushes over all the brushes in my collection because these are the ones I genuinely use, love,